Hi, it's Nate McMurray. I am grateful to be here. Before we kick things off with our guest tonight, I got to remind everybody this is the last day of the quarter. We're judged to a large extent how we do today on fundraising. So if anybody out there can donate that's watching tonight, it'd make a big difference. That way we can go back to the big shots and the powers that be and say, look, we're doing this on the grassroots level. Please help us win. We've come so close twice. Help us finish what we started. So if you can donate, I need to make a big point of asking you to donate tonight. Now, we have two great guests tonight. We have Cindy and we have Ann on the line today. Guys, can you join me?
Hey, Nate.
Hi there.
How are you guys? So just a brief introduction for both of you, if you could.
You go, Ann.
My name is Ann Betts. I've been working in different ways to support Nate, the different campaigns, and continue to do so. And we'll learn more about my fundraising efforts later in the call.
Hi, Ann. Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
And I'm Cindy Fleischer, and I met Nate on July 4th of 2018 in a very hot parking lot for a 4th of July parade. And it was then that I realized this is somebody I had to help.
Wait, you came to the first parade?
I came to that parade in Canandaigua when your brother was dressed in his Batman suit.
Whoa! Wait,
I
didn't realize you were one of the original Canandaigua folks.
We were the last float, and we had to wait out in the open on this asphalt parking lot. It was 100 degrees that day, without exaggeration. It was 100 degrees. We were the second to last float, I think, to go out. And we were dripping sweat, every one of us. But Nate was just himself, and he was shaking hands. It was, pre-COVID, right? Shaking hands, saying hi, giving candy to the kids. It was awesome.
It was a blast. But I remember we got there, and I said to my team, if no one's there, we're going to march by ourselves. And there's a couple people there. I didn't realize you were one of them. I remember Rachel was there and a few others. Man, I thought for some reason you met us along the way later on. I didn't realize you were with us since the very start.
Yeah, well, not the very, because you really started in February, right? But that was July.
But that was like that summer run of parades was when we really built our support.
Yeah.
Because people were like, "Who is this guy?"
Who is this guy? This is what you really want to know what I thought?
Yeah, go ahead. I do.
We started chatting, and I was asking you questions, and I was like, this guy's not for real. He can't be this who he seems to be. And you are. You're smart, you're genuine, you're kind, you're enormously wonderful.
Well,
so
you're so nice. It makes me feel so uncomfortable to have someone so nice as you to say that, and I'm grateful for you. I really am. And we had a big event at your house last week. That was incredible. Ann, were you there? You were there. No, you weren't. But
my masks were there, but I couldn't be there.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. The whole yard was full of people, socially distanced. She had a mic set up on the stage. I don't know. It just looked beautiful. And your home is beautiful, I got to say.
Thank you.
I was going to call you and say, let's film our advertisement if we do an advertisement. I said, let's do it at Cindy's house because it's so pretty, but it's just too far away, Cindy. No offense.
Yeah, I know. You got to move here when you win.
Yeah. Well, I would listen. Canandaigua is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Have you guys been to the park up there, Ontario Park?
Yeah.
Up on the hill?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Up at the top of Burnett Hill. It's pretty far south.
Isn't that great, though?
It's beautiful. Yeah. I actually threw a shower there for someone once. It's a beautiful park. Yep.
God bless you.
So that party came together. This, as you're calling it, a stage, is the front porch of this house. And I actually called a friend that I knew from years ago who still, as an adult, plays in bands. And I texted him and I asked him if I could borrow a mic so that, the candidates could speak from the porch. And he wrote back, he said, how about a duo and a mic?
Oh, wow. What kind of music?
It was, I want to think of the name of it, Americana music. And I think that's one of the reasons you were here, Samra Brook was here, Matt Miller was here, Sharon, I don't know her last name, Suter, anyway. So there were 4 candidates here, and where I live is sort of an area that draws from all those different districts. So that was one reason that people were here. But honestly, I think live music hooked a lot of people because it's been so hard to hear live music because of COVID.
It was great. Like, look that was straight out of a storybook. It was a great event. I mean, I've had a lot of great events. I loved the 4th of July event from 2018, but let's be honest, it was great because it was so quirky and crazy. but like, though that event was legitimately impressive, well organized, beautiful, good people, good speeches, moving, inspiring. Hats off to you majorly. I really can't thank you enough.
We raised a bunch of money too. We don't have a final number, but it's over $8,500.
You're kidding me. We raised that much? Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, how can I describe it? It was like Norman Rockwell meets Woodstock. It was great. Sorry.
I think that it had an especially poignant feel to it because of COVID and not being able to meet with people.
I think it had an especially poignant feel because it was so darn beautiful. A giant oak tree in front of this beautiful American White House with American flags flowing, and a very diverse crowd in just in the middle of COVID, and everyone's taking care of each other. It was a beautiful event. Sorry to go off on it so much, but it was great.
I want to say a friend of my daughter's called to say, I can't, there's all these Democrats in my next door neighbor's front yard. I didn't know there were so many.
Really?
She said, I'm so happy right now. Yeah.
Listen, everybody always says that, but we have to, like, because it does feel like we're alone because we truly are the silent majority. Maybe not the majority, but the silent 50%. And man, I hear that all the time, but there's way more of us than you think, and you see more and more Biden signs now, and I don't know. I feel very optimistic. You guys see how many McMurray signs are out there, and they keep stealing them, and we still have that many out there.
That's right.
So let's talk to Ann for a second. Ann, you've been there since the get-go too, and you're such a wonderful person. And we've had you on Zoom calls, and listen, you're doing something great right now. Great, fantastic. You're selling masks. And can I give you a sales pitch, people? You describe the mask, then I'm going to give you a sales pitch. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, when the pandemic first started, I started to sew masks, I think as a way to suppress my anxiety and do something productive. And then as materials have improved, now I get different features online and my masks have gotten better and better. My friend Lynn, who's also a big Nate fan, said, you should do a fundraiser and sell masks. And so that's what gave me the idea. And so I decided to call it Masks for Voting. I was very surprised that Masks for Voting was a domain name that I could purchase. So wow. I've got a very rudimentary website that connects people to my Instagram. I guess pictures are coming up now of friends in Vermont wearing their masks and whatever else is going to come up. Well, there's a sample one. Yeah, so I've been making masks and then selling them. Suggested donation is $20 or more if you want. I've sold, I don't know how many I've sold, over $2,500 worth so far.
Wow.
I just wanted to do something productive and meaningful, and I think it sends multiple messages, my Masks for Voting project. So, yeah, I don't know.
Ann, okay, here comes the pitch. When COVID first hit, I was using a junky, whatever, like, mask I got from a painter shop or something.
Yeah.
And then I switched to a cheap one I got at Target. And this big face of mine, it didn't really cover anything. So I was struggling with it. Then I ordered online. What was it called? It was like the most safe mask you could possibly get. And I got a whole mess of them for my family. It was a total scam. And they came around your head. And then I heard from the CDC, right, that those are the least effective. And they actually may spread the virus. So I was like, oh gosh. So anyway, I've tried a lot of different masks, and this mask for Masks massforvoting.com.
Yep.
Look, I'm not just saying this because she's using the proceeds to benefit good candidates. It is legitimately the best mask I've ever had. The material is like, what is this, canvas or something? What is this?
No, it's high quality quilting cotton, which the CDC or someone says is one of the best materials to use for a homemade mask.
It's soft like cotton, but it's thick and heavy duty.
Yeah,
So
you can't blow a candle out. You can't blow a candle out if you got it on your face.
So here's the best thing. It's adjustable. So someone like me who's got a big head, you can adjust it. It's got a thing you can put around the bridge of your nose, which I didn't know about until tonight.
Pinch it.
You can pinch it, right? And like, look at it's so good. It fits so well. So I had two. The other one got destroyed because I dumped a bunch of coffee on it. I tried to wash it and it's all stained.
I'll fix you up. It's okay.
But this listen, what does a mask say? Like, yes, we all look silly, but we're also fighting with. What does this mask say?
It says, I care about you and I care about me. That's what it says to me.
To me,
and I believe in science.
I care enough not to make you sick.
Yes.
Yes. So like when people say, well, it doesn't spread I hear this stuff still. I'm like, look if I'm in a grocery store, I can smell someone's Brute cologne from 20 feet away. You know what I mean? That's an aerosol.
Right.
This virus, you can't smell, but it spreads the same way. It's an aerosol. So you can be creating clouds of it and get sick from it without even knowing. And what we know about the vaccines so far is it'll take a long time to get vaccines to everybody, at least until April next year. And I guess they're not even entirely effective, is what they're saying now. Correct? So we're going to be dealing with this problem for a long time.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say to you guys, this is the fourth I've lived through. I lived through MERS, I lived through SARS, I lived through H1N1. Now I'm on this because I was in Asia. So Asia one of the reasons why like Taiwan and South Korea are doing so well is they did very poorly before. Now we did well with H1N1, but what I'm saying is they've had these viruses and these pandemics happen frequently in Asia because a lot of people living close together. We've been lucky. We've been spared. They're more prepared. And like you and I both know, even me who's lived in Asia for so long, I would see people wear masks and I'd be like, is this guy nuts? Who's he kidding? But I really think we have to adjust to realize that there's problems like this that can occur. There's more of us than there ever was before. And if you have to wear a mask for a little while, it's not the end of the world. In fact, we did our polling. Sorry to talk your ear off, but we did our polling. Our polling says that 97% of people in NY27 know who I am. So you know what?
Wow.
Wearing this mask is a help to me.
Well, my daughter was in one of the pictures that went by. She and I were together in Pittsburgh, and I had to bring her something. And she said, Mama, I love not being perceived sometimes as we walked around with our masks on. So it was kind of fun, too.
And if you have a cool one like this, it's great.
Yeah.
So massforvoting.com. Listen, I'm not an Instagram person. I don't get it.
A lot of people aren't.
I don't understand the platform because I'm a talker, obviously, and I want to share information. It's just mostly images, but it's the most popular platform. And if people want to go, if you're an Instagram person, help massforvoting.com. They're on Instagram. Please follow them on Instagram. Everybody who's got an Instagram account, go and follow massforvoting.com. I hope you're around long after my election and for future elections for other people.
Well, me too. I'm going to be modifying my logo and getting custom fabric. This is just a little side thing that I do to manage stress. But yeah, Mass for Voting is just me. And people can send me a message on Instagram, or they could send me an email, annlbetz@gmail.com. And I will talk masks with you and get you what you need.
I'm so grateful. And I'm really grateful for my mask. It is the best mask I ever had. It looks like $1 million and I feel safe in it.
Thank you, Nate. I'm glad.
I'll be wearing it tomorrow all day long.
Wash it once in a while, okay?
Yes.
That's good too.
That's good. Cindy, I want to talk to you for a second about the Grassroots Network, GR for Grassroots, ny27.com. grny27.com is a website you created on your own, 100%. Look at Torrin out there. Torrin's become like he's become like an MC behind the scenes. Like he's bringing things up perfectly.
It's
So
awesome.
grny27.com is Cindy's site. It is an amazing site. Tell them about it, Cindy. Go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, it's not my site. There's a lot of people involved. There are 3 co-chairs. I came up with the idea, but Sandra Chalnov, who lives in Holland, and Linda Van Harsel, who lives in Lewiston, Niagara County. So we're in various parts of the district. Run it together. We're the 3 co-chairs. We call ourselves co-chairs. But we were developing all these materials, and this saint came out of nowhere, Erin Oliver, who's on the Hamburg Town Dem Committee, and said, hey, you think it might be a good idea to have a website? And she said I could organize this stuff. And so
Erin did that? I didn't know that.
Erin did the website. And
I did not know that.
Yes. And it has just been a godsend because it does really organize things well. It gives us one repository. But I want to tell a little bit about why I started it, if you don't mind.
Yep, go ahead. I'm already listening to you.
All right. So as I started to say, I met Nate in 2018, and then I got involved as a volunteer with house parties when someone else was chairing that. And then for the special election, I chaired the house parties, and I could see how hard Nate's team worked. And put in a lot of hours. And Nate's appeal has been grassroots from the beginning. I mean, Nate has huge support in various pockets around the district. And it just seemed to me that it would be good to build some kind of an infrastructure that would connect everybody. And so that everybody who then was connected could reach out farther to get to the people whom we like to call just on the edge of civic involvement. So people who have not really had any interest in politics, or, how many of us didn't know what congressional district we lived in forever, let alone who our congressman was. So the idea was to gather these people together. And Nate, I have to tell you, when we started this, it was like a swarm. I mean, all these people that wanted to be leaders of this group, because there's different levels, and they are all over the district. And so what we do is, it's really a simple process. We create a digest of information every week that shows a clear difference between you and your opponent. And we publicize some of your open letters and things that you write, articles in the paper. Anything, we've got a lot of letters to the editor, anything that will clarify who you are and how you are different than your opponent. And we send it out to the leaders, and the leaders send it out to their people. And then we ask, it's like a phone tree. Then those people share it with their friends and their relatives, anybody who has any interest in learning more about the 2 people running for Congress. And we've been quite successful. And people can join, and that's the reason I want to bring this up, is that if you go to grny27.com, there's a button there that you can click that says join. And you will be helping Nate in an enormous way in getting word out about his how he feels and believes and what he'll do for us as a congressman. And you'll help yourself, because we're going to have a congressman who will actually represent us.
Cindy, you know me. I have lots of thoughts. You probably saw that this is the first day you met me. My mind's running a million miles per minute, for good and bad. And you are the opposite. That you are so organized. Like, sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes I have so much going on in my mind. I'm like, let's do this, and then let's do this. Having you as part of this team has been an incredible godsend, because you take a lot of the best ideas and you've condensed them down into something that's very special. And I think also, well, listen, NY27 is going to go away, very likely, win or lose. If we win, it's good. We're going to be able to fight for more representation for New York State. If we lose, either Higgins or Morelli is going to have to go against Jacobs in 2 years. So one thing you should think about is we may need to rename that site in 2 years. It's putting in your radar. The other thing I want to say to you is win or lose. And the other thing I want to say to you is this. We've always had this grassroots support, and no one can figure it out. DCCC can't figure it out. How are you doing this? And, our average donation is $60, as opposed to my opponent's average donation is near $1,000, I think. So like we have an incredible grassroots network. What you've done is you've independently taken away to formalize that network. So can be used to help future races, including hopefully my future race, but also other worthy candidates. It's really a model that can be used in other jurisdictions. And it's not AstroTurf. So much about so-called grassroots is just the establishment pretending to be grassroots, using the terminology grassroots. But this is as grassroots as it gets. And man, does it work. I mean, you've been amazing. It's been amazing. And I'm not overstating this. It is truly amazing. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. And what we do now, as we get people coming in, because we have these people who have agreed to be leaders of the network, is if someone volunteers, say in Niagara County, we put them with a leader in Niagara County. If someone volunteers in Ontario County, same thing there. And the point is to accentuate what you're saying. We are putting people in communities in touch with each other so that they form their own group in their own community. So if New York 27 goes away, Hamburg's not going anywhere. Mendon's not going anywhere. And it'll be people within those jurisdictions that know each other and can carry this forward.
I want to say hi to some people at home real quick. Hello to beautiful Chris Freiberger. How are you, my good friend? Jane Maslow's on the line. Lisa Dalton's on the line. Wendy. Hey, Wendy, how are you? Thank you for putting my logo on your face and the profile pic. It's fantastic. Thanks for everybody who's on the line. Ann, are you part of GRNY27?
I am.
How's it going?
It's great. I've met so many people. I can't even believe how many nice, wonderful people I've met. I feel so much less, lonely out here. It's great.
One of the things I like about it is that it also able to bring in some of my friends from Grand Island, because Grand Island is as red as it gets. I was the only Democratic supervisor in years, and let's be honest, I won by 2 votes, and it was downright a miracle. So and we have these good people. Like, she's gonna be mad at me if I bring it up, but do you know Dr. Spicone now?
I don't.
So I think Cindy knows her.
I know her. She's beautiful.
She's the best. She is the best. She's wonderful. She ran the Buffalo Psych Center as I don't know what her position was. She's now involved in suicide prevention. She's overqualified and like incredibly wonderful and intelligent. And listen, this is no knock on her. Sometimes the person on the ballot is the voter, not the candidate, because how you vote is also a determination of who we are as a people. And she got killed in her election. And I said to her afterwards, she shouldn't have. I mean, she's more qualified than me. She is one of the most qualified people I ever met in my life. And I went to her and I said, please don't go away. And to see her now inspiring people in other communities because of the GRNY27 network, and to realize that just because she was in a very red town, her talents and abilities, she's always going to contribute to the community. She's involved in so many different things. But in a political sense, I take so much consolation and peace from the fact that she gets to talk to some of you guys and be involved in this bigger thing where we're trying to change the overall sensibilities and character of the political scene in Western New York, which frankly has been atrocious with congressman after congressman after congressman who was indicted. Horrible, vile vitriol being on conservative radio. And to have this kind of network, it's going to heal the region over time. I really believe that. Go ahead if you want to comment on both of those topics, either one of you. Ann, any comments? Or Cindy, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ann. Did you?
I'm needing this dose of optimism right now, so I am going to take it to heart.
Yeah. What's happened too as GRNY27 started, the concept that it started from, it's actually grown, and we have people with multiple different talents. I mean, and they're contributing those in however they can. And one of the things that we're doing as a separate organization is we're running a fundraiser that will be starting next week, that we're going to raise money for the end of, to get you through some more commercial time.
Listen, those at home, every dollar helps. We are completely grassroots. We're doing this with very limited supplies or equipment or anything else, and I'm appreciative to everybody. I mean, all of this stuff has been, we've taken it out of basements, we borrowed it from friends, and I bought this green screen years ago. So it's people. It looks pretty professional, doesn't it, for a bunch of people who are doing it on their own? One more thing I wanted to say. Can I say something before we close about being optimistic? Can I give you?
Please, yeah.
So, did you watch let's talk about the debate. You watched the debate last night, guys?
I did. That's why I said what I said. Yeah, I did watch it, the whole thing.
What is your review?
Well, I made a really, really big bowl of popcorn with butter and Parmesan cheese to get through it. I thought, damn, I'm going to do this for myself.
Sounds good.
I just felt, I don't know. I felt sad, stressed out, angry. I wanted there to be a mute button so that when one of the speakers went over the rule, broke the rules, the time limit, they were muted. It seemed kind of simple to me, but I don't know. Didn't have anything prepared.
Did you ever watch the show Around? Probably not, but maybe you did. It's the show Around the Horn.
No.
It's a goofy sports show, but the moderator has different people in boxes across the country, like sports writers. And if they say something he doesn't like, he hits the mute button. And they're frozen out. They're frozen out for 20 seconds. So I was like, they needed an Around the Horn mute button. No, it was a horrible. And this morning I woke up with my son, and we had to write his report because he had to write a report for school on the debate.
Oh.
And I said, let me show you what debates used to be like. And I showed him some old debates. And I said, that was horrific. That was something that has never happened in the United States. And he was lying, openly lying, being personally cruel about people's children. And the worst of all, stoking violence and insurrection, racist insurrection. Stand by.
Yeah.
He refused to renounce white supremacy.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He kept saying, you don't want to use your left wing. He doesn't want to lose his extremist wing because that's all he's got. And there's always been hate in this country, but there's never been a president or someone at this level of power that was willing to so openly use that hate for his own personal advantage. It was awful. But let me say this. I keep saying, because I want to remind people, we've had a lot of horrible moments in our country's history. Horrible. We had a civil war over the ownership of human beings. And not so long ago, 1968, we lost Martin Luther King and RFK in the same year from assassination. Thousands of young men. Cindy, you probably remember. Thousands of young men. Where were they going? Vietnam. I remember talking to my mom about this. She said there was whole communities that didn't have any young men. They were all gone to Vietnam. It was a scarring moment in our country's history. There was cities on fire. There was unrest. Since then, we have passed laws to protect voting rights, to protect civil rights. We have, in the last election, even during President Trump, we had the most diverse class ever elected to Congress. More women, more members of the LGBTQ plus community, more Muslims. We had the most diverse class ever. And it's easy to say it's all hopeless, but it's not. And you could imagine if you were a young man in Vietnam in 1968 who heard news that JFK or RFK was assassinated and MLK was assassinated, and that you were coming home and soon Nixon was going to be elected. You could imagine how hopeless people felt. And beyond that, we were facing a belligerent Soviet Union. which we still have a belligerent Russia today, but it's not quite the same as the Soviet Union that was threatening nuclear war openly. And I think a lot of young people, including the young people in my campaign, I often talk to them about the threat of nuclear weapons, and they don't really get it. I hate to say it, but they don't. They understand climate change. They understand diversity issues in some ways I can't even understand, and they often educate me. But I think because we all lived in the Cold War era, I remember the gripping fear of nuclear annihilation as a child. Do you guys remember the day after the television show?
No.
So the
No.
day when I was young, there was a show on ABC, and we watched it. My family watched it. I probably shouldn't have. It was terrifying. I was too young to watch it. It was a real life depiction of what nuclear war would be like, and it was horrifying. America froze, and after the show was so tremendously horrifying that after the show, Ronald Reagan wrote in his journal, I need to fix this. I cannot live with myself if we do not destroy the human race. And we always think of the human race is been around forever. The world is millions and millions of years old. Basically, human civilization is 5,000 years old. It's not that long. I mean, the Egyptians were like 3,500 years ago. I mean, the Sumerians were 5,000 years ago. It's not that long. And the possibility of annihilation was hanging over our head in the 80s. And people were literally flaunting the fact they wanted to use nuclear weapons, these weapons that are so devastating. And after the show, Carl Sagan, the great scientist, got on, and there was a panel after the movie, so people could deal with the emotions from the movie. And Carl Sagan said, "It is insanity what we're doing. The Soviet Union and the United States are sitting in a room doused with gasoline, and we are taking matches and throwing them at each other." And I think the grip of the potential of nuclear war, we're still there, but we're not quite the way we were there in the 80s. And I think there was the civil rights movement, the horrors of 1968, the Vietnam War, there's been horrible moments. But if you look at the progress, it is like this. It really is. And Saturday was a horrible moment. And I know it feels hopeless and scary and horrible. Trust me, the day after I lost to Chris Collins the first time, you think I wanted to go and do this again?
Can't
Do you know
believe
what?
you did. Thank you.
No. Do you know what it was like? I was say, remember the Christmas party?
Yes.
You were there, right?
Yes.
So my whole team was like, we're going to have a Christmas party. I was like, yeah, how about we never do that and never talk to each other ever again? I was like, I don't want to go to a Christmas party. What are you guys talking about? So the team threw us the Christmas party. And they said, it's going to be ugly sweater. Sorry, you have to come. And I was kind of going through the motions. And the day of, I said, I'm not going. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I went. And you and all these other people were there. And we were singing Christmas carols and taking photographs. And I was like, God, the sun does come up again. Like, yeah. I can go and do this. I can put my boots back on and go and do this. And I guess I'm talking a lot here, but last thing. I'm sorry. Literally last thing. I'm sorry to bore you guys.
It doesn't have to be. We're fine.
I'm sorry.
You're not boring.
Thank you. So, like, you guys know my background. I grew up one of seven. I talk about it all the time because it shapes me, shapes who I am. And my mother was, if you know my mom, she is just almost dangerously optimistic. That is her one great crutch and also her one great skill. No matter what happens, she'll see the bright side. Like if a comet came to the top of our house, she'd be like, well, look we have a sunroof now. Like that's my mom. And I'll be honest, Mom, if you're watching, sometimes it verged on the edge of Pollyanna. But then I think, wait a second. This woman raised 7 children and got her master's degree by herself in North Tonawanda, making $14,000 a year. So I believe that ceaseless optimism, even in the worst moments, can be powerful. When we were young, our house burned. And I tell this story sometimes, but I get a little bit emotional. I'll try not to get emotional. And we had no food. And we were staying in a barn for a while. And my mom got just enough money to go get some milk and some bacon and some orange juice and some bread. And I hated bacon before that. Something about when I was a little kid, bacon was too greasy. I hated bacon. And I'll never forget, she went and got bacon and cooked bacon. And she told me, the bacon smelled so good because I was hungry. And she said, put the bacon between your cheek and teeth and hold it. And I did it. And she's like, you always savor the good things because there's always more bacon coming. And I said, oh God. And every time I eat bacon now, I put it right there between my cheek and my teeth. And I just think that type of endless optimism and hope can help you overcome terrible things. And if you become bogged down in the tragedy of the moment, I would have never continued to meet you. We wouldn't have had that event on Saturday. I wouldn't have been all across NY27. I wouldn't have met the thousands of additional people I met. Win or lose, and I think we're going to win. And I'm not just saying that in the way my mom would say it. I really believe we're going to win because we have the polling to prove it.
I believe it.
We have the polling to prove it. But if you stop moving, if you give up, they win. And as long as we're fighting for what's good, and as long as we're savoring the bacon when we got it, we win. So I
love it.
Sorry if that was too much and too dramatic,
No.
but well, listen, I'm gonna let you guys go because I got to get up tomorrow. You know, I got a big day tomorrow, and I love you both. I'm super grateful for you guys. Be hopeful, be happy, be optimistic, and let's keep going.
And join GRNY27.
And masks for voting.
Voting.com.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.